Hi! Welcome to yet another episode of 𝐸𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 a Ugandan lesbian visibility podcast celebrating queer love, exploring life experiences, representations, and busting queer myths.
She said what she said.
I'm Amor,
Marisa,
Sasha,
Matilda,
Luca, and Biggie.
You guys, it's been a while. It's been a minute. I've missed you so much.
We missed you too.
we missed you too.
Never missing.
Tilda, we are not surprised, but we missed you.
Never missing. Anyway, so it's been a second wave or second lockdown. I know we've been having struggles and situations happening. What has been your experience like? I know some people have been having fun. Others have new piercings. Others have new motivations and bichi. Some of us to the struggle, yeah, man.
Matilda, I know you talk about the piercings, eh? That is me, but it's okay. Piercings are like a form of therapy, especially in this time.
Yeah.
Or, in this time where you're from one lockdown and then you're trying to get back on track, and then another lockdown comes in. It's been crazy. It's been a lot of feelings, a lot of mixed emotions, but it's been a learning process.
Quite a learning process, I must say. I didn't get a piercing because it's therapy. No, I really wanted to have something for every lockdown. The first lockdown, I got a tattoo. The second one, I got a piercing.
Third lockdown?
I don't know what I'll do for the third lockdown, but
by the way,
quite
you should look at
challenging
her.
situation.
You should look at her, people. Whoever is going to see her face, just look at that. Look for that piercing.
Because she's looking hot. It was quite depressing, so much as compared to the first lockdown, because I remember the first day the president said you're staying at home from 10 of that day. The next day, a lot of sirens for ambulances. Taking people to hospitals was quite freaky for me as a person, but also the silence in the night, and the only sound that you hear out there are those sirens taking people to hospitals. And the fact that we had RIP as the new normal on
status.
every WhatsApp group, every status, Facebook, everywhere, you realize that someone is dead. Some people you know, people you don't know. So it was quite scary as opposed to the first lockdown, because the first lockdown there was a few deaths, but then we had people who had contracted COVID. But for the second one, there are so many people who passed on. Doctors, nurses, people who are supposed to treat us are passing on, but also the hyped bills, hospital bills, really freaked me out.
Yeah. Biggie said something about RIP, and I remember being on social media and I would start typing RIP just by seeing someone's picture, even before reading the message, because in my head I would assume that it's someone that has died, and sometimes they were birthday messages. Anyway,
So true.
so for me, this lockdown was funny because I was recovering from a surgery. I think I was in my own world. I was focusing on recovering and then being as careful as possible not to contract the virus, because my immunity was low, and then people were checking in on me, and yet I had to keep going to hospital for reviews and whatnot. It was a bit stressful. I would have to be on the lookout. People wanted to come and check on me, but I didn't want, because I wanted to be careful. This experience has taught me a lot of things, and I think I have become stronger and bolder. Yeah.
On the other hand, it's so funny because for all the 2 lockdowns, for some reason, I stopped working. So the first lockdown, I resigned. And after resigning, that's when I'm told a lockdown. And then this other lockdown, I also somehow stopped working. So it's just weird. For me, this whole lockdown thing is it drains me emotionally, but then also it has been a lesson. There are so many things I have learned from this lockdown.
Sasha, sorry you're not feeling okay.
I'm fine now.
Okay, that's nice. This lockdown was bad for me because I'd moved into my new place. You're starting this kind of new life, and then Seven tells you, you're staying home. And you're like, okay, now how am I going to pay for this new rent? Oh, I am dead. In a new place alone. I was so scared. I could not sleep. I had anxiety. I was always pissed. And then also, Banang, we are in lockdown. Why are you hiking prices? You can't buy tomatoes. You can't buy onions. You would think during this time people would be considerate. But everyone was just being, wow, how?
1 lemon, 500.
Oh my God. Imagine, and lemons are so necessary. So it was like a war, but fighting alone in your house. Oh, glad I survived somehow. Thank God.
Yeah, but the experience of this second lockdown is that we were supposed to close a week before. We were supposed to close as Farouk for 1 week because we had staff that had COVID. And immediately on that day, the president closes in by 10 p.m. But so many things happened because we prepared. We had already prepared for the 2 weeks, for the 14 days as staff. So that means we had 2 counselors in place to attend to different people. We also had we had prepared knowing that we will be home, we will be away for 2 weeks, and then the president added the 42 days. So the difference with the first lockdown and this one is that we prepared, and the fact that there are a lot of people who died during this period of time, the second wave, everyone took it serious. It was each one's responsibility to stay at home. Actually, so many people requested the president to lock us up for the better of us.
Yeah, when Biggie says that, it reminds me of, so in the first lockdown, it was like party after party. People were like, now we are on vacation, let's go and drink and party and do house parties. And then the second one, everyone adhered to the SOPs. People were washing hands religiously, wearing their masks and buying, steaming, buying everything that is necessary. Did any of you ever go to a pharmacy and find what was there? People were buying all kinds of drugs that are related to cough and flu. It's like we were also making our own pharmacies in our homes.
We had local herbs.
Yeah, but the thing is funny because we would go and buy maybe Dexa and Septrin and cough lictors, and then we also go to the market and buy all this lemon and ginger and fruits and whatnot. So basically,
there's that moment where people were just picking any leaves from any tree, you know. There's a scenario where you could find people plucking different kinds of trees for steaming.
Yeah, there's that purple leaf that people kept talking about, calling it a magic tree.
You guys, this lockdown was serious. I have a friend of mine who told me about her grandmother. You know those grandmothers who are like very, very strict, and then the grandmother was telling them, "Nayemwe, akajaga tukajewa." Like, where do we find weed? Oh, they said weed helps with the symptoms and everything, and everyone was buying weed. This COVID is too much. My grandmother is looking for weed leaves. Like, it was crazy by now.
Oh my God, everyone was just concocting anything.
Yeah, but
dodo plus cabbage plus mululus.
Speaking
God.
of weed, you know, I talked to some family members and I was shocked to find that some of the people I thought were the most conservative were actually on the lookout for weed seeds. They also wanted to plant them and drink because this was another magic regimen
Potion.
to the COVID. Yeah.
They say when you're sick, as long as you have to do something to actually be better, when you're in that desperate situation, you'll go for anything. But we're in a state whereby we're seeing the deaths actually increasing. Everyone's status is RIP. Our edgements, gana over like 3 days ago now again. So there was that kind of fear. There was a lot of tension. Even if you'd move, you'd see that everyone yeking I was surprised to see the conductor recently washing their hands before. Like, these guys don't give two shits, you know. So basically we were getting whatever was working. Oba dagala, oba habo, nadala, that caliph, they called it the 5-star leaf. People thought they were steaming in that leaf, that the whole nation actually, and even the media talk about it. It was very funny. It was very funny.
It was actually crazy because, well, of course, when we talk about the grandmas taking, it sounds a bit funny, but yeah, it was serious. There's a time I had gone to do a manicure and pedicure, and the guy who was doing my nails got a call that their nanny had just passed on. And this is someone who was taking care of their child, and in the evening they picked the child, and she said, "I'm not feeling well, probably you can keep the child at home today." And they say that nanny is dead. Immediately, all of us who were in the salon put on our masks. Like, you know how we've been hearing all the siren, and then now it hit like home, and we were like, okay, this guy has been in contact with this woman, has been in contact with the child. We put on our masks, and that day is when they locked the country down. This second lockdown, as much as you'd think we've learned from the first, this second lockdown was crazy.
Yeah, I think the thing that scared us most about the second one was the fact that in the first lockdown, we heard about COVID, but it was like a faraway thing. And then in this one, people were dying, people that were known to us. You would hear someone saying, "My workmate has died, my workmate's father has died, or this one's auntie has died, my friend's father has died." Like, it was just too scary. But for me, the most scary experience was when a close family friend passed on. Oh my goodness. And this person had some money. So the thing is, she got some symptoms and then she's like, okay, I can't breathe well. She called the ambulance. They take her to Mulago, which is the National Referral Hospital. And she's in the line for like 5 days because there are no beds in hospital, which means I can't afford to feel sick because there are not even beds. Then her friends find a way of getting her a bed in the ICU. And within 2 weeks, their bill was at 100 million shillings. Remember, this is a national referral hospital. It's supposed to be one of the cheapest. That is the time I really started getting scared, like, oh my goodness, because I knew that if I dare get sick, I am going to die, because I can't even raise 100 million in 2 weeks.
2 weeks in like 3 years.
What scared me, by the way, was the health care here. Because nachanenga makatimi banange, when I fall sick, I'll die in this house. The treatments are expensive, so naina kwa komera in my house, like,
By the way, did you get so many people reaching out to you as Farouk?
Yeah, we did. By the way, kudos to Farouk. The information they gave us to protect ourselves during this time was amazing. It was very good work.
Yeah, so many people reached out as opposed to the first lockdown, because we weren't prepared. I wouldn't say that we were so prepared this time, but at least we managed to get support from the government, the relief that was being given the marginalized poor.
Nabanja.
Yeah. So some of our members benefited, but also not only from the government, we received some support from our partners like Lady Maima's Bureau, but also SMAG supported us by looking after the people who are affected by COVID, who had recovered from COVID, which was a good thing because we had tangible solutions, but we had for a few people that were badly affected.
Yeah, in the first lockdown, because this pandemic caught us unawares, we didn't have a lot of information, so there was nothing really to share and warn our people about it. But in this one, there was more information available, so we disseminated a lot of information on our socials, in our WhatsApp groups. We made follow-up calls to our members. So basically, this time I would say we were more prepared than the first time.
But also we registered, you know that we registered so many members who had issues around intimate partner violence and guys not being able to have food at home. And since this time we were prepared, apart from just food and domestic violence or intimate partner violence, we had availability of the drugs in the clinic, where a member could just reach out our toll-free line to order for any medication that they wanted.
We also had the legal team. We had a legal aid desk where you could call in and the legal team would go and help you out. Farouk paralegals were there to help out. And we had an on-call counselor full-time. We had actually 2 of them, and reaching out to people, sharing information of how they could cope and encouraging people to share their stories.
So, speaking of the toll-free line, I would just like everyone to know it's 0800 1000 93. 0800 100093. It's on 24/7. Call it anytime. You don't need airtime to call. You will be helped.
Isn't it like those numbers we see of toll free, but they never work? So we need to actually
It's
approve
always
this
on.
message.
Actually, someone call it and we find out. Someone call.
Okay, let me try.
Because I remember mine worked. I got my medicine.
We don't want it to be one of those helplines you call and are available up from 8 to 5.
Oh,
It's ringing.
through.
Thank you for calling our toll-free line. How may I help you?
This is Marisa calling. We are doing a podcast and we just wanted to be sure that the line is available.
Well, as you heard it, Aura is on, Aura is available. Please call on it. Anytime you need the Farouk help, Farouk is here to support you in any way that Farouk can.
Thank you very much. Member. Anyway, we've been talking about experiences, but mine has been Katogo. I was going through another stage of depression, so it's been Katogo, and but for some reason I've been reminding myself one step at a time. As other people wake up in the morning and they're lively and they're looking forward to the day, me, that's when everything is like, okay, why are you awake? So I've been reminding myself that just wake up, face that day as it is, and then you'll be okay. If you go through it, well and good. If you don't, then accept it. So it's been that way. Plus also the deaths, banange, the deaths, and their your agements, I would get scared, and I hated it. I stopped watching news actually. Nagavodok, I think it's of recent, whereby I'm getting back to it, and I was able to be there for people, so it was making me a bit happy. I like to make people feel good. It's like feeding my soul. Yeah, listening to other people go through different stuff, being there for them, and giving a bit of my, affection or love to them made me happy. And I was busy with webinars or maybe teaching about my usual mental health stuff. I'm very passionate about it, so it was that crazy. And I was watching, but this second one,
There's a point that you said about take each day at a time. For me now, this is like my life policy. I take each day at a time. I don't know, with all the traumas that COVID comes with and the lockdown, you just have to step back and breathe, otherwise you're going to be taken up, you're going to be depressed, now there is being depressed, and then you're depressed in the depression.
That's the depression actually itself.
So,
it's like a circle after circles of thoughts. It's a thought with a thought within a thought within another thought, so at the end of the day it just sucks you in.
So like for me, I have just learned to take each day at a time, and then to appreciate people who are there for me. Like, I do not take that for granted anymore. Like, I appreciate.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of the time when I was going through it and I had to call the staff from here and they came running. Like, nali infanga anjagal anga sisa, like that pain of like I cried a lot and I couldn't breathe. So I'm like, I can't breathe. I need to get out of this house. So they took me out just around to talk, and like, you can't be alone. Like, it sucks being alone. So if you have one or two people to just ask how you are, it's a nice thing. And also we have to wake up feeling positive.
Different creatures, different people. Remember, whatever works for you may not work for another person. So we have to be able to be open to different things. But talking of leaving home, I once trekked from Nansana to Chira because I could not stand being in the same house. But oh well, different experiences. I'm so glad we're here. I missed you guys so much. I mean, this whole second phase. What have you got from it? I don't know, because I know there's been the positive, the negative, but there's something that we've actually been able to get.
I think for me, one of the biggest lessons I've learned comparing the first lockdown, post-lockdown, and then the second lockdown, I think we all must agree we need a strong support system.
Preach.
Be it family, be it friends. I think we need to create support groups and then reach out. When you're feeling down, when you're not well, please reach out. Let's help one another. Let's stop judging. Let's be more understanding, more compassionate.
In relation to that, these few days, actually, among the people that got me through this was friends. A person checking in and you're surprised. Family, Teddy, there are those friends who are like, have you eaten? Are you okay? How are you feeling? Or have you got this? And the fact that actually I'm lucky enough to be a member of Farouk, because I'm imagining if I didn't belong to any organization or I didn't know any individuals within the community, I was going to stand alone. I'm not even online, but there's that separation of whereby the world kind of forgets you. So that affiliation kind of brought that support system.
And I actually like the point that Luca and the both of you have brought forward. If you're an LBQ woman, it is very, very important to belong to a community. And there are several. Just belong to a network, because at the end of the day, you have someone to talk to. It's like a family. So, and most of us LBQ women, sometimes we have been separated from our families because of our sexuality. So, but if you belong to a network, if you belong to a community, they offer support to their members.
Speaking of being connected, one of the advantages of being affiliated to an organization is the fact that at least someone will be on the lookout for you. Because you see, when we are locked down a lot of times, some people are alone in the house. So imagine an instance where your friends are all going through shit and you are not attached to any organization and you need help, but you are too weak to do that. Because usually, for instance, what we do is we call our members and follow up. People who are on drugs, if they aren't hearing, if they need more, if they need some food, if they need counseling. But imagine in a lockdown where you've lost a job and can't even afford a counselor. So you see the advantage of, being affiliated. So for instance, there are ARVs. We have, people that are taking psychiatric drugs, maybe pressure drugs.
What I learned, what I got, I got a geek did during this lockdown.
Tuwepo sente.
Man, nazukule mwaka unga. But like it was so amazing. Our 𝐶𝐞𝐥𝐩𝐥𝐢 project called me to play for Pride, like that Pride celebrations for Pride on YouTube. So it was so amazing. Can you imagine? I was going through a breakup that day and I had to record the show that day. Nakaba maziganenga sangula, but I kept thinking of the money. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. So it was nice.
So Muyai Amalo Kulia na breaking her up with you and you had to go out.
Umuye yali agala kundeka mwana.
But at least you got Nabanja and then you go for the gig. For you were among the loaded people, eh?
Yeah. Thank you, Nabanja, by the way.
Yeah, some of the lessons learned during this lockdown was the fact that we called for the lockdown. We needed it as opposed to the first lockdown. We really needed it because so many people were dying. One other important thing I realized during this period of time is that we need to check on people. It's important to check on friends or families because there is a person who passed on because their friends didn't check on them when they separated the night before the lockdown. This person went back home, fell sick. By the time the friends realized they have not heard from their friend, by the time they took an ambulance to take him to hospital, he passed on the way. So it's quite important to check on friends. Yeah. It's quite important to have supportive partners in terms of organizations. We have had support for our members who have recovered from COVID through our network, Sexual Minorities Uganda. But also we supported the 10 LBQ women who couldn't afford food during this period of time through our partner organization, LMB. So these are lessons that I learned that we need to have a network of partners, supportive partners.
Banange, let me emphasize this one. If you don't want to be part of the community, it's okay. But get to know people and get information. Because the truth is we are already going through a lot. Knowing someone that, okay, I am this kind of person. How do I educate myself? How do I get to know people who are like me? You'll even inform people in other organizations to say that, you know what, in the other area code, I know a few people who are just like us and they don't have any help. We are trying to emphasize the part of being part of a community, or at least get the information. If you need help, you need to call someone. And we are still going through a long trek of this whole COVID and things are really bad. So try as much as possible, get the information or be part of something. We need to have each other's back.
And as you become part of community and get each other's back, also always tune in to 𝐶𝐞𝐥𝐻𝐥 because we will definitely be there to talk to you and you will not feel like you're alone.
We've been 𝐶𝐞𝐥𝐻𝐥, the originals. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like all our socials. Facebook, Farouk 2003, YouTube 𝐶𝐞𝐥𝐻𝐥, which is also on our website www.farouguganda.org. Instagram and Twitter, it is Farouk_Uganda. She said what she said.
See you next time, guys. Bye.